Greetings, everyone. Greetings, everyone. Welcome, welcome again to another episode of Brown Girls Are Beautiful. Thank y'all for joining me in the building. We have Lonesome Dove, Maddie Ice. How are y'all doing? I don't even know how you all know that I am already like how are y'all able to get on here before the live stream starts? I'm just kind of curious to how that happens. I am so curious because Fox Galaxy did the same thing a couple of times. And I'm like, how do they know that I'm in here before I even go live? So that is definitely interesting. I really appreciate you all supporting the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I've been talking about this whole thing with Iran, Iraq, and all of that since it all started. Y'all remember last year, right? Last year, this stuff started taking place with Iraq, Iran, Israel. And that's what I want to talk about, y'all. I want to talk about the fact that the ceasefire lasted for just a little bit and now it's over with. So as quickly as it started, it has ended, y'all. As Hi Fox Galaxy, as quickly as it started, it has ended, guys. I was hoping that we were coming to some type of common ground, some type of agreement here. But with that being said, hi, Lonesome Dove. Y'all are so supportive, and I thank y'all so much. I thank y'all so much. Oh, let me go ahead and put my do not disturb on, y'all. Let me do that right now. Thank you so much, y'all, for being in the building with me today. I was not expecting all of this love and support. Y'all make me feel so good. Oh my goodness, I'm just surrounded by the best chat in the world, the best moderators in the world. Thank you, the best subscribers in the world. Nobody can top you all. I thank you so much. Y'all very appreciated and celebrated, y'all. So let's go down the line real quickly. We have a smiley face from Lonesome Dove. We have Maddie Ice in the building. We have Fox Galaxy in the building. My day was okay. I'm quite tired today, but I still wanted to come on here and talk about what has been going on, you all. So thank you so much. So let's get into it, you all. Now, when we last left off the live stream, this was just last night, by the way, there was a ceasefire, there was an agreement that was reached allegedly between Donald Trump and Iran. Now, with that, the ceasefire was supposed to last for approximately 2 weeks. 2 weeks, there were to be no type of anything going on between the countries. Well, that has already ended. As quickly as it started, it has already ended. So we're going to get into it, you all. This is all due to the Strait of Hormuz. So if you don't know what the Strait of Hormuz is, I'm going to kind of explain that. It is a narrow body of water where the ships transport back and forth petroleum products, crude oil, all types of things. And right now, Iran has control of it. They've shut it down, you guys. Because why did they shut it down? Well, because Israel decided they wanted to attack Lebanon, right? So let's get into the attack in Lebanon and see how this parallels and coincides with everything that's going on right now. This was just 2 hours ago, straight out of Al Jazeera. Okay, so the Iran war updates. Israel has killed 254 in Lebanon after the U.S. Iran agree for the ceasefire. This was just updated today, a little while ago, y'all. So this is the latest update. Let me go ahead and share my screen so you all can see this. Oh, thank you. Y'all make me smile too. Yeah, I was trying to decide on what camera to use. So this right here is the FaceTime camera, like straight coming from the computer. I don't know if it'll let me switch cameras, y'all. Let me see if it will. So y'all tell me what camera y'all like better. This is my other camera. I'm not really feeling the lighting on this one. I'm not really feeling it. Like I have it looking like this, and then we can go like this with it. So y'all tell me what y'all like. I think I am going to go with the FaceTime camera straight out of the computer. This one right here. You tell me which one. Do you like? Okay, so this camera right here is the F and smoke show. What are you talking about? This right here is the web camera. And then the other camera, or I can go like this. Okay. So then I also have the FaceTime camera that's built into the laptop. You all tell me which one you like better. Yeah, Fox Galaxy. I don't know what HKCC9 is talking about, so you know what to do. You like the other camera, Lonesome? I don't know which one you're talking about, so just let me know. Y'all let me know in the chat section which one you like better. Right now, I have the regular one. But anyway, you like all the cameras? Okay. That's not helping anything. Let's keep it moving, all right? Because that is besides the point. Let me share my screen. Let's get into actually what has taken place with Iran, okay? So if you can see my screen here, basically we're talking about the fact that thank you, Fox. We're talking about the fact that Israel has killed 254 in Lebanon after they reached an agreement. And this agreement just got reached yesterday or late yesterday evening, y'all. After they agreed to the ceasefire, they continue to attack Lebanon. Okay. So let's look at what happened. Um, Here's what happened today, guys. Israeli forces have killed at least 254 people across Lebanon in the country's most devastating day of conflict after the US and Iran agreed to a 2-week ceasefire. You said Israel doesn't abide by any agreements, it seems, at all. Iranian officials say the US and Israel have reneged on agreed terms by claiming that Lebanon was not included in the truce deal. All right. So Israel is trying to circumnavigate this whole thing and say, oh, well, Lebanon was not included in it. So that's why we did what we did. But do y'all remember last year when I think and Iran and Israel were throwing bombs back and forth? And Donald Trump tried to get in it and he told them to stop. He told both sides to stop. After they agreed to stop, Israel still was letting off bombs. Do y'all remember that? And Iran, they kept firing back at one another just because they could do it, y'all. And it's ridiculous. But anyway, the White House has dismissed Iran's 10-point proposal less than 24 hours after Trump said it was a workable basis on which to negotiate. Israeli forces have killed Al Jazeera journalist Mohammed Wisha in a drone strike in Gaza, y'all. So a journalist has gotten taken off the earth because of these attacks. The IRGC Navy has announced transit routes that ships could take to avoid sea mines after promising to reopen the Strait of Hormuz as part of the ceasefire, guys. Lebanon's most devastating day of the war so far. Israel says it targeted 100 locations in fewer than 10 minutes. What remains to be seen, of course, is that what the regional response will be. Hezbollah issued a statement describing Israeli attacks across Lebanon as war crimes, targeting innocent civilians, y'all. It said that it only strengthened its resolve to continue fighting the enemy and establish security in Lebanon. So it's a tone of defiance and determination in the face of this enormous wave of Israeli airstrikes across the country today. Hezbollah, in its statement, also cited its understanding that the agreement did include Lebanon, and that was at the request of Iran. Then later on this afternoon, there was a statement from the Speaker of the Iranian parliament, again stating that they believe that the agreement had been violated, you all. Devastation all around the Middle East. Look at this. The cookie crumbles, you all. First responders and residents gather at the site of an Israeli air attack on Beirut's Tali Al Kayet neighborhood. This is devastating, y'all. White cups versus black people, too. Uh oh. So, y'all, let's look at what they're fighting about, okay? I'm going to share my screen so y'all can see this. 1 second, y'all. All right, and I don't know if y'all can. Okay, here we go. This right here is amid the Strait of Hormuz. So, or Hormuz is what they call it. It is a narrow body of water. Okay. And this is how they are able to make their trades um, throughout different parts of the world. As you can see, it's located right here. You see this little blue? It's very hard to see on the screen, but I'm putting my cursor over it, moving the cursor back and forth. So the arrow right here that you see, this is the Strait of Hormuz, and it goes into the Persian Gulf. Well, there are ships that come in here, and from my understanding, it's only about 2 miles wide. So it's very important to get in here to make deliveries. And you can see Iran right here, they're controlling it. So they've shut it down. This is what Iran has done as of today because Israel went in and attacked Lebanon. As you can see, the Persian Gulf gets you over to Iraq, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, Abu Dhabi, Saudi Arabia, and then over here you have another body of water. Right here is very narrow, and this is the Bab al Mandeb Strait. Okay, so these are very important, guys. All right, it says the Strait of Hormuz, located between Oman and Iran, connects the Persian Gulf with the Gulf of Oman and Arabian Sea. The strait is deep enough and wide enough to handle, you remember it was Gaza and Israel? Um, it says the strait is deep enough and wide enough to handle the world's largest crude oil tankers, and it is one of the world's most important oil choke points. Large volumes of oil flow through the strait, and very few alternative options exist to move oil out of the strait if it is closed. In 2024, oil flow through the strait averaged 20 million barrels per day, or the equivalent of about 20% of global petroleum liquids consumption in the first quarter of 2025. Total oil flows through the Strait of Hormuz remained relatively flat compared with 2024, you all. Although we have not seen maritime traffic through the Strait of Hormuz blocked following recent tensions in the region, the price of Brent crude oil increased from $69 a barrel on June 12th to $74 a barrel on June 13th. This piece highlights the importance of the strait to global oil supplies. Choke points are narrow channels along widely used global sea routes that are critical to global energy security. The inability of oil to transit a major choke point, even temporarily, can create substantial supply delays and raise shipping costs, potentially increasing world energy prices. Although most choke points can be circumvented by using other routes, often adding significantly to transit time, some choke points have no practical alternatives. Most volumes that transit the strait have no alternative means of exiting the region, although there are some pipeline alternatives that can avoid the Strait of Hormuz. So that means that if there's anything that needs to be delivered and they have shut it down, these people are going to have to circumnavigate this waterway and try to find another way, which is going to cause a major delay to many countries. Between 2022 and 2024, volumes of crude oil and condensate transiting the Strait of Hormuz declined by 1.6 million. What's good, King Hazy? Barrels, which were only partially offset. I'm not going to read all of that, okay? So basically, you understand the need for this. You understand the need for this, right? So I'm going to stop sharing right there for a second. Okay. Let's get into, let me see, something else that I had for y'all. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to copy, paste it, and bring it over to this other browser so that I can share it with you all. Okay. Now, let me go ahead and share this. Just a second, y'all. Here we go. So this journalist right here, she's going to kind of give you some insight and clarity on how important this is.
Channel connecting the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman, which is
she speaks and she talks very fast, so try to keep up with her as she has very high energy, y'all.
the Strait of Hormuz. What is it and why are we hearing so much about it right now? Well, first off, the Strait of Hormuz is a narrow channel connecting the Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Oman, which essentially is the Persian Gulf's only access to the Indian Ocean and the rest of the shipping world. Sandwiched between Iran and Oman, the strait is only 24 miles wide at its most narrow point, and vessels going in or out are confined to two 2-mile wide shipping lanes separated by just 2 miles themselves. So, why is it so important? Let's take a closer look at the countries lining the Persian Gulf: the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Iraq, and Iran. These are all oil-rich nations who ferry significant amounts of their products through the Strait of Hormuz in order to get it to the rest of the world. In fact, 1/5 of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas, or LNG, shipments pass through the strait every year, and many countries rely on the crude that comes out of the Strait of Hormuz. China, for example, is the biggest consumer of Iranian oil, and 45% of the oil it uses annually comes via the strait. But after the US and Israel launched their joint attack on Iran in February, Iran launched a series of drone attacks and missile threats to effectively close the Strait of Hormuz to most traffic. In the first half of March, around 90 ships passed through the strait, down from roughly 100 to 135 vessels that crossed each day before the war. That's caused oil prices to soar from $65 a barrel to over $100, and markets around the world to tumble. And with the strait effectively blocked, hundreds of ships are essentially stuck waiting on either side. Coupled with the destruction of oil and gas infrastructure across the region, energy production in the Middle East is grinding to a halt, sending ripple effects throughout the world. So, who is and isn't allowed to pass? Even with the strait closed, there are a few ships that are allowed to pass. Pakistan, India, and Turkey-linked vessels have been allowed to send at least one tanker or vessel through the strait. And Iran itself has still shipped at least 16 million barrels of oil out to the world since the conflict began. But the US, Israel, and their allies have, unsurprisingly, been denied entry through the channel. For PBS News,
Oh my gosh. Y'all, just when we thought things were getting better, just when we thought things were going better for the world, here it is again. So, Donald Trump is not pleased with this whatsoever, guys. He is not happy about this. And in their agreement last night, when we reviewed the agreement, Iran said that they would have full dominion over the strait, but they would open it up, right? Which they did, and they closed it right back again because Israel decided they wanted to attack Lebanon. So this is where we are now, okay? So with all of that being said, y'all, the ceasefire has ended, unfortunately. And I don't know what is going. Why is half my face showing on the screen, y'all? What is going on here? Is this better? Can y'all see me a little bit better now? I don't know which way I should move it. I don't know why I'm not really showing up how I should show up, guys. But anyway, y'all, this is what's going on around the globe and in the world. And I just felt like we should delve a little bit into it to get some insight and clarity on it. There's been a lot of things that I was listening to earlier in the car when I was driving and that I wanted to kind of share with y'all. Let me see just a second. I'm going to see if I can find some of these videos for y'all, and then we're going to delve into it a little bit because Donald Trump felt like we had, I don't know, like a leg up in this scenario, but in all actuality, I would say that Iran is playing chess, not checkers, y'all. And I felt like they had a trick up their sleeve anyway. I just felt it because they're very cunning. They are very cunning. So let me look back into my video history, y'all, so we can kind of go over some stuff here. Okay, so ba- they're saying that Donald Trump is throwing a temper tantrum over the indictments. What in the world is this? What is going on, y'all? It's too much. Sorry, it's too much going on here. What indictments? Hold on. What are they talking about? He's not weaponizing the Justice Department to get even, but ask the audience, wouldn't I have a right to? Okay, I'll come back to this in just a second. This man is too much. Okay, it's too much going on with this guy. Where's my history? Hold on, I'm trying to look. Oh, here's my history here. Okay, go back. Okay, here's some of the stuff that I wanted to review. Okay, we're not going to listen to an hour about the ceasefire briefing. Okay, here we go. All right, let's look at. Now, I think this guy was lying, but let's just listen to it for the sake of listening to it, right? And we're going to use our own discernment here, and you tell me what you think. What are your thoughts? So let's listen up just a second, y'all. I'm going to share my screen so we can all see this together. Hold on one moment while I get this all together. It's up and it's stuck, says King Hazy. Oh my gosh. I hope not. I hope not. You said it's up and it's stuck. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's listen in.
The Associated Press is reporting that the country has closed the Strait of Hormuz, the shipping channel that's critical to the oil industry. The move is in response to Israel's overnight attacks in Lebanon, a key ally of Iran's, and it could put the new 2-week ceasefire with the U.S. in danger. Natalie Brand has more from the White House.
The Pentagon says the fight against Iran is over for now as negotiations continue with the hope of a long-term peace.
The joint force remains ready if ordered or called upon to resume combat operations with the same speed and precision as we've demonstrated over the last 38 days, and we hope that that is not the case.
Pakistan, which helped mediate the ceasefire, has invited Iran and the U.S. to meet in Islamabad on Friday for further discussion.
We will go for negotiations to see how serious the other side is.
Speaking in Hungary Wednesday morning, Vice President J.D. Vance called it a fragile truce.
If the Iranians are willing in good faith to work with us, I think we can make an agreement. If they're going to lie, if they're going to cheat, if they're going to try to prevent even the fragile truce that we've set up from taking place, then they're not going to be happy.
President Trump posted this morning on social media that the U.S. would be.
Oh boy, let's see what the Trumpster posted, y'all. The United States will work closely with Iran, which we have determined has gone through what will be a very productive regime change. There will be no enrichment of uranium. He said ground troops are going in there to retrieve that uranium. I'm taking bets. Okay, there will be no enrichment of uranium, and the United States will working with Iran, dig up and remove all of the deeply buried B-2 bombers' nuclear dust. It is now and has been under very exacting satellite surveillance, Space Force. Nothing has been touched from the date of attack. We are and will be talking tariff and sanctions relief with Iran. Many of the 15 points have already been agreed to. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump, y'all. Oh my gosh. Let's keep it moving.
Working with Iran to dig up their enriched uranium stockpile. And in exchange, America is talking with Iran about tariff and sanctions relief. Oil prices dropped nearly $20 a barrel in overnight trading, but are still above pre-war levels. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Yes, Maddie Ice, the Trumpster.
On this channel, I love to talk about geopolitics, which is the interaction between geography, how the Earth is shaped, and politics, how people and countries interact with each other. This time, we'll discover why the Strait of Hormuz is so important and how being narrow has put this stretch of water at the center of global international tensions. Before we dive into why the strait is so important, let's find out where on Earth it is. This is the Arabian Peninsula. On one side of the peninsula, the Arabian Sea is connected to the Mediterranean by the Red Sea, which runs between the peninsula and the continent of Africa and joins the Mediterranean Sea here through the Suez Canal. On the other side of the peninsula, the Arabian Sea runs into the Gulf of Oman, which is connected to the Persian Gulf. Between these two gulfs is this very narrow stretch of water, the Strait of Hormuz. The strait is bounded on either side by the countries of Iran, Oman, and the United Arab Emirates. The Strait of Hormuz helps transport loads of oil per day on some of the biggest ships on Earth. We'll go into more detail about that in a moment. Because of how narrow the strait is and the volume of oil that is transported through it, the Strait of Hormuz is the world's most important choke point for the transport of oil. Just to get an idea of the scale of the amount of oil and other energy products transiting the strait, here's some quick maths. In 2018, the average number of barrels of oil and other petrol liquids passing through the strait was about 21 million barrels per day. Each barrel is about 159 litres, which equates to a total of over 3 billion litres, or more than 1,300 Olympic swimming pools of liquid per day. This is about 21% of the entire world's daily petrol consumption. 1/3 of all of the sea transited oil on Earth travels through the strait, as well as 1/4 of all of the traded.
Hold on, y'all. You mind if I take a pause break for a second? If Trump, the Trumpster, if he knew this with his advisors and all of the people in the White House, why in the world would they go over there striking and attacking Iran if they knew that this strait was this important? They're trying to strong arm these people. Do you know that those people over there are like not really trying to back down from Trump like that for real? But if you let some of the officials in the White House tell it, Iran has had enough and they're backing down, and they pleaded and they begged for the ceasefire to end. I mean, for this ceasefire to go on, like they didn't want any more attacks, y'all. Those people were making memes about Donald Trump even while they were under attack. They were making memes about that pilot that had to be rescued. So I digress. Let's keep going and let's hear more about this, okay?
Natural gas. The Strait of Hormuz is only about 39 kilometers wide at its narrowest point. Because of this, ships transiting the strait must stick to strict shipping lanes. Despite its narrow width, the Strait of Hormuz is deep enough to accommodate the largest ships on Earth, the epically named Very Large and Ultra Large crude carriers. Large ships exiting the Persian Gulf via the Strait of Hormuz have to participate in a carefully choreographed dance. The first shipping lane starts in the territorial waters of Iran. It then passes between 3 islands, which are currently administered by Iran but claimed by the UAE. Next, our supertanker must pass into Omani territorial waters to transit the narrowest shipping lanes in the narrowest part of the strait. Once through the strait, there are more shipping lanes in the Gulf of Oman that can take ships back into Iranian territorial waters. We've talked about how the Persian Gulf is connected to the Mediterranean Sea via the Strait of Hormuz, but actually in 2018, about 76% of the crude oil transmitted through the strait headed the other direction, to Asia, and most of that went to only 5 countries: China, India, Japan, Singapore, and South Korea. To get to the large markets in East Asia, oil tankers usually have to traverse another oil choke point, the Strait of Malacca, which we might talk about in another video. So the Strait of Hormuz is narrow, so narrow that it falls within the territorial waters of the boundary countries. This means that any incidents within the strait have the potential to shut down transit, or at worst, to spark conflict between countries. Just a few months before the release of this video, there were attacks on ships in the Gulf of Oman, near to the opening of the Strait of Hormuz. Incidents like these threaten the stability of the strait and increase tensions between boundary countries. Now we know just how important the Strait of Hormuz is to global oil trade, we can imagine just how damaging any disruption to the flow of oil through the strait would be to countries reliant on receiving the oil and on those countries reliant on the income from selling oil. So aside from the
All right, so you can see here that America is pictured right here because it will come through the Atlantic Ocean. I guess they would come from, I don't know, through here some way to over here, or if they can't go that way, then they have to go all the way down and around past Africa and come up this way. So that would take that transit much longer to reach America, y'all, to reach the coastline of America. So that's why I don't understand why he would attack Iran if this is so important to the entire world, y'all. So now they've shut it down and only a few countries are allowed to pass through. Y'all, it's crazy. You said, oh, because Trump wants to control the flow to China since China is like an advisory. Okay, let's keep going.
oil buying countries trying to reduce their reliance on foreign oil, what else have the oil producing countries done to try and mitigate any threats to the stability of the Strait of Hormuz as a shipping route? Well, only Saudi Arabia and the UAE can bypass the Strait of Hormuz by shipping outside of the Persian Gulf and have pipelines to get the oil to those ports. Remember that 21 million barrels per day transited the Strait of Hormuz in 2018. Saudi Arabia has the East-West pipeline that can transport up to 5 million barrels per day to its port on the Red Sea. Although in 2018, this pipeline was only used to transport 2 million barrels per day. It also has a natural gas pipeline, which can transport the equivalent of 300,000 barrels per day. The UAE has the Abu Dhabi crude oil pipeline to transport oil directly to the Gulf of Oman, which can pump up to 1.5 million barrels per day, but was only used for 600,000 barrels per day last year. Other pipelines exist, but most are relatively small and cross international boundaries, so have fallen into disuse due to the recent conflict or political disagreements between countries. So what does the future hold for the Strait of Hormuz? Well, that's a very tricky question, and one that I probably can't answer. As we've discovered, the importance of the strait is amplified by the geography of the region, including a lack of viable alternate shipping routes. But it's also important to acknowledge that the strait is fully integrated into the territorial waters of various countries, meaning that the politics of the region affects the stability of the strait as a shipping route. The Strait of Hormuz will likely continue to be one of the most important shipping routes in the world, especially if the global hunger for oil continues.
To get started in data analytics, you don't need previous experience or a degree. The Google
Of course, interrupt our session with a freaking commercial, YouTube. This is so annoying. All right, but that's that, y'all. So I thought that was interesting to give us some clarity and insight into how important that body of water is to the entire globe, actually, at this juncture. And oh, you said China is like an adversary. Well, you know, Trump, for some reason, he has something against China. You remember this all started back in 2020 when COVID hit. He said it came from China. That's what he said. And ever since then, he has had it out for those Chinese, y'all. And then also, you know, he's trying to control stuff, like you said, before China gets their hands on it. China actually is a very powerful country. And I don't understand, why are we being adversarial towards China when we are supposed to be indebted to China? We owe China like trillions of dollars, y'all. Trillions. So wouldn't he want to be a little bit more friendly with China? Wouldn't you think? But it looks like Israel has their hands all up and down, up in our pocket. Like, it's just like he's being a puppet for Netanyahu, y'all. That's what it's like. That is what I'm about to put my sunshades on. I'm about to put my sunshades on real quickly. Hold on, where are my sunshades, y'all? Because my eyes are tired. These things are dirty. What happened? They don't want to pay the past due bill. Look, I don't understand how they can say America is so rich with the army and all of this stuff when they owe all these trillions of dollars to China. And I really don't think they want to mess with China because China has very extensive technology, y'all. Those Chinese don't play. It's a lot of them. Okay. It's a lot of them. And they don't play around, y'all. What is wrong with these glasses? It's like something is not. Let me see. Can you see it on camera? Y'all, this has nothing to do with anything other than the fact that it protects my eyes. You said China is in the moon? They look lopsided. What's going on here? Y'all see that? They look like lopsided. But anyway, I'm talking about stuff that has nothing to do with anything right now. Why do these glasses look like this, y'all? This is distracting me. Thank you, Lonesome Dove. But look at this side. This is not supposed to sit like this. It's like they've been bent or something. I gotta bend them back. Yeah, I gotta invest into some more sunshades. I love sunshades, by the way. It's not supposed to look like this. They didn't look like this last night, I don't think. Okay, because I wore them last night. You laughing at me? Y'all, it's probably entertaining for y'all, but not so fun for me. What are your thoughts and opinions? Do I need to drop the link? Would anybody like to come up and give me your thoughts and views and opinions about what is going on? I'm going to drop this link. I want to see if anybody wants to come up. You said note taken. I'm going to drop the link, y'all. I'm a copy. All right. And I'm going to drop it. Well, you're not obligated to come up here, but if you want to, you can. Okay. It make my heart flutter. Okay. If somebody wanted to come up and give their thoughts, views, and opinions on what's going on, in the Middle East right now, especially as it deals with America. I just think that we need to get along in peace and talk it out. Why do we have to be bombing people, y'all? And I don't even feel like he should have gone over there messing with those people, knowing that this body of water was so important to us. Why would he go over there and antagonize those people? But that's what's going on, y'all. Oh, it was something else I wanted to play for y'all. Hold on, so I don't forget. 1 second. Where's that video? We're gonna review that in a second. Okay, so we just saw this. Take this off. Let's see. I'm trying to go back to where I was, y'all. Oh, so I see nobody wants to come up here. Y'all all so scared to come and talk, or y'all shy? You're not shy because you be talking in the comment section. All right, so let me see. Trump. All right, so let's hear about this tantrum that Trump is throwing. That's what we wanted to delve into, because he really doesn't have time to be throwing temper tantrums right now. Not with what the world is dealing with because of him. We don't have time for temper tantrums, Donald. All right, hold on 1 second. Let's hear what the Trumpster is talking about here, guys. You don't know what to say, but you know what to type in the comment section, y'all. Okay, let me share my screen. Let's hear about this temper tantrum, y'all. What are they talking about here?
We reinstated also service members who were thrown out of our military over religious objections. That was a big deal. They thrown out over religious objections to vaccine mandates and all of the other things. They used any excuse they could. We restored.
And I agree with him on that, you guys. I agree on that. I don't think there should be injection mandates for people to have their jobs. I don't think that should be forced upon people. I'm about to switch the camera for a second, y'all. I don't think that vaccine mandates should be implemented on people. So I do agree with him on that.
Those patriots to their former ranks with full pay. We've given them full pay. They were taking advantage of it. And I really think it was over religion. I actually think that they used the vaccines as a way of really punishing people over religion. I don't know how you can vote for these people. I really don't.
I agree with that too. I think those injections were used as a punishment. Do y'all know they actually had a judge that told this guy, it was a melanated guy, he had to either serve time in jail or he could get the COVID injection. It was one or the other, one or the other. They would have just had to put me in jail.
I don't know how you can. We passed the largest ever expansion of school choice so that every parent has a chance to send their child to a school that shares their values. And today I'm also pleased to announce that the Department of Education is officially issuing its new guidance to protect the right to prayer in our public schools. That's a big deal. Now the Democrats will sue us, but we'll win it. We'll win it. They'll sue us. They sue us for everything. I'm the most sued human being in history. They've sued me for everything. I got impeached twice over nothing, but the Republicans were great. Just wiped them right out. But I got impeached. I got indicted. Wiped them out. There's never been, there's never been, to the best of our knowledge, any politician that's ever been indicted who won an election. Very popular politicians got indicted, they lost. I got indicted so much, I got tired of calling my wife. I'd say, darling, I was just indicted again. She said, oh, darling. What? Oh, what does that mean? She's very elegant. You saw that from the movie. She's not into the world of indictments. It's not Melania. No,
Where's the temper tantrum? I don't see him throwing a temper tantrum, y'all. Indicted again. I don't know because hold on, y'all. I'm going to see how long ago this video was posted. Just a second.
To know what an indictment, it's not her deal. Her movie, by the way, big success. That movie is a big success. Yeah, I called up so many times. I'd say, honey, I just got indicted again. Don't worry about it. But think of it many times. And then they say, Donald Trump is using the Justice Department to get even. And I don't. But wouldn't I have a right to? Think of it. There's never been in history a president treated like I got treated. But they say I use it. And it's amazing. I did that interview yesterday, and they said that. They said the question, are you using the Justice Department for your own personal gain? They said, they indicted me 87 times. It's the most incredible thing. But we don't do that, Pam, do we? Huh? We do what's right. We do what's right. And Pam does it. We have great people. We have great people working there. But we do what's right. We expanded the.
What is he talking about, y'all? Because you say he got 34 felonies? I guess so. I don't see a temper tantrum.
And my administration also. And I stopped the mutilation of children. For everybody. They want transgender for everybody. We stopped it. And we also, very importantly, we got men out of women's sports. It's nothing. Headed up with Paul and Jenny and some.
All right, y'all. So let me stop it right there for a second because he was rambling for quite a while. My sentiments are, he said he stopped the mutilation of children. I don't know because the Epstein files never really fully got investigated like it should have. He said he talked about Pam Bondi, the Attorney General. Also, another thing that he brought up is about the transgenders keeping men out of women's sports. I'm in agreement with that because biochemically, what am I trying to say? biologically. We know that men are naturally stronger than women, higher levels of testosterone. It's not a real fair like match, whenever you have a man competing against a woman. That's just my opinion. And then getting the men out of women's bathrooms. I'm not in agreement with men being in women's bathrooms either, because just think about being in there and you don't know if you're in there with a man or a woman. I think that's kind of uncomfortable. So I do agree with those sentiments. You said everything except the Epstein files. Exactly, Lonesome Dove. He didn't touch on that. I noticed. So that was a very interesting. I don't know when that video was actually posted. It only has 29 views. So it had to be kind of recent, in my personal opinion. So there are some things that I do agree with, that he spoke about. Um, I don't agree with how he's going about navigating some of the world affairs. And by the way, everybody, welcome to World Affairs with Brown Girls Are Beautiful. This is our little World Affairs session going on right now. We're talking about Iran. We're talking about Israel. We're talking about Trump, United States, and Lebanon, and the Strait of Hormuz, and how that is going to impact us in the near future. Because if we can't have access to it and all the other countries can, what is that going to do for the price of oil here, for gas here, for a lot of things that we need to use that body of water to transport? And America's already struggling financially on an economic level, y'all. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. You said, I like how Trump gave felons back their right to bear arms. Really? Didn't know that. Very interesting. The felons have a right. Well, I feel like it should depend on what type of felon you are. Are you a violent felon? Or were you just, you committed some fraud doing some stuff that wasn't a violent offense? Because if you're a violent felon, should you really be bearing arms? That's the question, Lonesome Dove, that I would pose, right? That's the question that I would pose. Okay. So we got to be careful about that. You said touche. It's always an advantage and a disadvantage to a lot of things, y'all. But I find Donald Trump to be very interesting. I always found him to be interesting as a president, especially back in 2020. He is comedic, in my personal opinion. He makes me laugh because of the things he says out of his mouth, his body language. And, he likes to talk with his hands a lot, y'all, when he's saying things and, he's getting into whatever it is that he has to say. Is just a very interesting character, and he's always cracking jokes despite the infractions that have been committed all across this United States territory. Yeah, but that is the latest update. The ceasefire has ended as quickly as it started, y'all. And I'm not happy to hear about that. And so it's very uncertain, because since this attack has gone down by Israel, what does that mean for the rest of everybody that's involved in this situation? We know that Israel and America they're like this, sticking hand in hand, supporting one another when it comes to this. You said war is profitable. Yeah, but it's not beneficial to everybody, Lonesome Dove, because who pays for the war? We do. The tax-paying citizens of America pay for this. We fund the war. So we don't think that it's fun to be at war at all. This is not fun for us. It never is. Nobody wants to really go to war except for the people that benefit from it. So the people that make all the weapons and stuff, of course, they're happy to profit off of it. The people that make the bombs, they're happy about it. Yes, it's terrible. And let's not even mention the loss of innocent lives, y'all. So all of these things take place every time we go to war. And yeah, just not a big advocate of it. I'm not a big fan of it, you guys. But here we are. Here we are. All right. Now let's look at what was posted as of 35 minutes ago, guys, by CNN. All right. Just a moment. You said Lockheed and Martin. Okay. So here we see that hold on guys. It says Israel's massive strike on Lebanon strains the US and Iran's uneasy ceasefire. More confusion ensues as the White House insists the Strait of Hormuz must stay open, but Iran's Revolutionary Guard say shipping there has stopped. It has come to a halt, y'all. It has come to a halt.
Wow, what is this place?
I know one thing, that journalist better be careful out there because the journalists already, their life got taken from them out in Lebanon, y'all. So sad. Sorry to hear about that. But these journalists are risking their lives being in the crossfire.
The air filled with smoke, the site of yet another deadly attack. This is the aftermath of an enormous Israeli military strike here in Beirut. This is one of the more than 100 targets, according to the Israeli military, that they believe to be Hezbollah targets struck today. But you can see behind me, these appear to be residential buildings, apartments.
Lots of Dove, you're exactly right. You said CNN with the yeah. So I'm just showing what they're showing, but I get what you're saying. I am picking up what you're putting down. Yeah, very questionable when we hear about CNN.
This is a very busy area full of shops and a busy roadway. There would have been many people at this site and around the area at the time of the blast. And now emergency services are working to dig through the rubble for victims. The Lebanese health ministry says hundreds have been killed and wounded, adding to the more than 1,500 people killed over the course of this war. Hopes that the ceasefire between the US, Israel, and Iran would extend to Lebanon were quickly dashed on Wednesday.
We were sitting drinking coffee like normal, and then we heard a very loud noise. 3 blasts at the same time. And then we saw the smoke, but we couldn't tell where it was coming from. What kind of life is this? We don't know what will happen in the next hour. The last thing we could imagine is this kind of attack occurring in the center of Beirut.
Both the US and Israel have claimed Lebanon was never part of the agreement, despite claims to the contrary from Pakistan's prime minister, who helped broker the deal. Now, fears of a further escalation, including a possible retaliation from Hezbollah ally Iran, has left many fearful over what now lies ahead for the people of Lebanon.
Well, what I will say is prayers to the people of Lebanon, y'all. Prayers to the people. You said you're on the game too? Okay. That is your prerogative, King Hazy, to be on the game. CNN ain't credible no more. I agree. But, I just pulled it up because they had live footage up allegedly. I guess to get real footage, prayers for Lebanon. And as a matter of fact, why? Let's look into why did Israel break the ceasefire and attack Lebanon. So it says here, Israel resumed military operations on March 2025. In the first ceasefire phase, citing Hamas's refusal to release more hostages and rejected proposals to move to the next phase. Prime Minister Netanyahu faced pressure from far-right coalition partners to continue fighting. Excuse me, y'all, and aimed to apply maximum pressure on Hamas to agree to new terms. Hostage negotiations failure. Israel stated that Hamas refused to meet demands for releasing more living hostages, ending the first phase of the deal. That has nothing to do. Why did he attack these people today? So why did Israel attack Lebanon today? Hey, Fox. Okay. I want to know why he did it, though. He said that almost 250 people got killed today. For what? I want to know. As of April 2026, Israel launched intensified strikes and a ground incursion into Lebanon to target Hezbollah, who is it? Oh, okay. So he was targeting someone which fired rockets in solidarity with Iran and in response to the killing of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Israel's objective is to disable Hezbollah's infrastructure, prevent further rocket attacks, and enable displaced residents of northern Israel to return home. I feel like people are lying. Oh, y'all are speaking to one another in the comment section. I love how y'all get along. I feel like they're lying, y'all. What are your thoughts? I feel like they're not being honest with us. That's how I feel. I feel like we're not getting the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you. I don't feel that they're telling us everything. It just seems cruel to me that they're attacking these people for no reason like this. Bullies, you all. Bullies. Yeah, prayers for Lebanon. You know, and I'm going to be honest, y'all. I really wasn't following the whole Palestine Hamas situation because it was so inundating, and I'm like, I didn't really follow along with a lot that was going on. I know we had people out here protesting, you know, holding up signs and stuff when you drive down the streets, and pockets of, you know, pockets of protesters, but nothing very major. So I don't really understand what all of this is about. I'm going to be honest. It's just shocking to me that they broke this agreement so quickly. So Israel, in my opinion, Netanyahu cannot be trusted, y'all. He cannot be trusted. Like, what is going on between Israel and Lebanon that this had to happen? Israel. Also, what is happening between Lebanon and Israel? Like, where's the hostility coming from? You said those earrings are fly. You got some real flavor, sweetie. Thank you, Netanyahu. Lonesome W, you're funny. I want to know, like, where did all this hostility start, y'all? Today, they killed over 200 people in Lebanon. Like, why did Israel do this? I just don't get it. Israel pounds Beirut as Lebanon left out of ceasefire deal. That's messed up. Israel strikes Lebanon without warning. Y'all, this is wrong. Why would they do this to innocent people? That's what I don't get it, y'all. Does anybody know the answer to that question? Please let me know if you know the answer in the comment section. You said it started in 1946. This is why they attacked them, because of something that happened in 1946. These people are crazy. All right, let's hear what they're saying, guys.
Tonight, and Iran says it may re-enter the conflict following Israeli strikes in Lebanon. What are you hearing on the ground right now?
Yeah, this ceasefire agreement is not even 24 hours old, and there's signs that it's falling apart. Iranian state media reporting that Tehran is prepared to exit the ceasefire agreement if Israel continues its bombing, its airstrikes targeting locations in Lebanon. And seemingly, Tehran has taken a couple of steps in doing that. They're once again shutting down the Strait of Hormuz, and according to state media, the Revolutionary Guard launching a number of missiles targeting locations in the Gulf. Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, he's the Speaker of Iran's parliament. He accused Washington's partner, Israel, of violating the ceasefire agreement by attacking locations in Israel and launching drones into Iranian airspace. Around 8 p.m. local time here in Tehran, once again, Tehran's air defense system activated. We heard that familiar volley of anti-aircraft fire in the skies, usually an indication that a drone is up above. Abbas Araqchi, the foreign minister here in Iran, with a message to Washington saying the United States has a choice to either abide by the agreement or choose to continue this war through Israel.
And Reza, there also appears to be a major gap on the nuclear issue. President Trump says there will be no uranium enrichment. Iranian officials insist they have that right. How wide is the divide between the two sides at this point in this fragile ceasefire?
Yeah, there are many gaps. These two sides haven't even sat down to begin negotiations, and there's indications that there's lots of confusion. You look at the idea of uranium enrichment, the White House explicitly saying that Iran cannot enrich uranium. That's one of Tehran's conditions. They believe.
All right, guys. So uranium is very, very crucial and very important because that's how you can make nuclear weapons. Uranium, if they get their hands on that, this is going to give them the ability to weaponize themselves. So this is what all the talk about uranium is about. And I don't know if y'all remember back when the Clintons were in office, they basically put us at a national security risk because they allowed, I think it was Russia, if I'm not mistaken, or one of those countries to have access to a lot of uranium. So this is what the importance of uranium is about.
That a peaceful nuclear program is their right. And you look at the Strait of Hormuz, Iran is demanding a new protocol to ensure safe passage, saying they want to charge fees for ships and tankers. No indication that Washington is going to accept that. And you know, look at Washington's other demands for Iran to cut ties with proxies, to curtail its ballistic missile program. Tehran's demands for the U.S. to get rid of its troops from the region and end sanctions. Lots of demands, no indication of any compromise.
And Simona, based on your reporting, what more do we know about the Israeli strikes in Lebanon today and their impact?
Well, this was a massive attack by Israel on Lebanon, unlike anything we've really seen over the past month or during the previous war back in 2024. There was no prior warning given by the IDF, which means that civilians didn't have the chance to get to safety, which is why we are seeing this high and still rising death toll with more than 200 people killed, hundreds injured in this sweeping bombardment of densely populated urban areas, not just here in the capital, Beirut, but also in the south and east of the country. The IDF says it was targeting Hezbollah infrastructure and fighters, which it said had moved outside of Hezbollah's typical areas of control. But what we've really seen are horrific scenes of people, including children, being pulled from the rubble of residential building, grocery.
Y'all, this is horrible. It's horrific, y'all. And in my opinion, this is a war crime. That's how I feel about it. Like, they attacked innocent children. They attacked innocent people. They attacked civilians that were unsuspecting, had no idea, didn't have a chance to flee, didn't give them a warning, just blew up their infrastructure. And then on top of it, you said it's all in the agenda so America can have the New World Order. I know, Lonesome Dove, I know. This has already been implemented into play back in the 1800s with the Rockefellers, and all you have to do is go back and read up on it. But yeah, the thing about what I'm talking about for today is the attack on Lebanon. I feel like Israel is in violation of a war crime, and I don't see that anybody's holding Israel accountable. You said they killed DB Super God Mode. You said they killed. You said backyard 45,000 of their own people in 2 days. This is craziness.
Stores, shops, pharmacies, and bakeries. So what this escalation has really done is inflict a very heavy civilian toll and sow panic and chaos among a traumatized population on a day when many had hoped that a ceasefire was on the horizon.
And Simona, the president told our Liz Landers on the phone this morning that Lebanon is not part of the ceasefire agreement. What does that mean for the situation there?
Well, Israel has said that it will continue to strike Lebanon as long as Hezbollah remains a threat in what increasingly sounds like an open-ended war. Let's remember that the IDF has never been able to defeat Hezbollah militarily in the previous wars and occupations. Now, on top of that, the IDF appears to have broadened its targets to include Hezbollah's political, financial, as well as media institutions that are considered legal here in Lebanon, and the attacks on which international rights groups have called war crimes. The IDF also said
that it wants to clear southern Lebanon of all Hezbollah supporters who still constitute a significant share of Shia Muslims here in Lebanon. So all of this really raises the question, at which point would the IDF consider Hezbollah defeated? Because clearly it's no longer just about the weapons, but also about the organization and its constituents and the ideology.
Simona Foltine in Beirut.
So this is about control, basically. Israel is trying to me, they're trying to emulate the United States. They're trying to control Lebanon. That's what it sounds like. The same way America tries to be the police of the world, the superpower of the world, and control everybody and break down their regime and restructure their regime, took out Iran's leader. They always do this type of stuff, y'all. But I want to know what significance Hezbollah has for Israel. Let me look that up. What is the significance that Hezbollah has for Israel? What is, does anybody know? Where did that start? What is the deal with Hezbollah? It says as of early of April 2026, well, we're only on the 8th day. Hezbollah is engaged in intense escalating fighting with Israel, resulting in a widening conflict in southern Lebanon. Following a ground invasion, Israeli forces are pushing deeper into Lebanon, conducting strikes that have caused significant displacement and damage, while Hezbollah continues to fire rockets and drones into northern Israel. You said Israel has America in their pockets? Yes. Remember that time Israel attacked the Navy and America said, "You're good, bro"? Really, we went to war because this is what Netanyahu wanted. But what's the history between these two? That's what I want to know. So it says Hezbollah, a Lebanese Shiite militant group and political party formed in 1982 with Iranian support, has maintained a long history of conflict with Israel, aiming for its destruction and resisting its influence in Lebanon. See, I was right. So basically, Israel wants to control Lebanon. Emerging during the Lebanese civil war and Israeli occupation, the group launched guerrilla warfare, leading to Israel's withdrawal from southern Lebanon in 2000. Key conflicts include the 2026 war, numerous border clashes, and significant escalation following the October 7th, 2023 Hamas attack. Okay, so it appears that this has been an ongoing conflict between these two countries. And it seems as though Netanyahu is using Donald Trump's influence because of the American military, because of the power of the military, to go to war and attack the countries that he wants to have power and control over in the Middle East. So Hezbollah was established in 1982, and then they had an Israeli invasion of Lebanon. The group was inspired by the Iranian Revolution of 1979 as part of the Axis of Resistance, with the 1985 manifesto calling for the destruction of Israel and the removal of Western influence. I can't blame them. How is it that the Westerns feel like they should dominate the people in the Middle East when these people have their own culture, their own religious practices, their own way of doing things? Who are we to say that they need to do things our way, that our way is right? And here we go with the superior, supreme, Eurocentric European mindset, always trying to colonize the entire globe. Guerrilla war. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Hezbollah, under the leadership of figures like Hassan Nasrallah, who became leader in 1992, fought a guerrilla war against Israeli forces in southern Lebanon. Yeah, these people in the Middle East have been going at it for years and decades with each other. They do a lot of infighting, and they've always been that way. A lot of it is in the name of religion. A lot of it is in the name of politics, but highly has to do with a lot of religious practices, y'all. But it seems as though Israel wants to control them. It says withdrawal and conflict from 2000 to 2006. Following sustained Hezbollah attacks, Israel, hold on 1 second. Israel withdrew from its security zone in southern Lebanon in May of 2000, ending an 18-year occupation. 2006 Lebanon War, a 34-day conflict erupted, and they're always having these spats and these disagreements and these disputes, y'all. And then the US of A tries to jump in and interject and intercede and supersede their, opinions and beliefs and stuff into it, y'all. After a Hezbollah cross-border raid killed and kidnapped Israeli soldiers, the war resulted in heavy casualties, y'all. Oh, excuse me. Over 1,100 Lebanese and over 160 Israelis, but saw Hezbollah and its leader Hassan Nasrallah survive and claim a victory against a superior force. So they don't like the fact that Lebanon seems like it's a smaller country, but they were victorious and keeping their independence. That's what I'm getting out of it. So they continued to clash in recent escalation between 2007 to 2024, y'all. In 2024, they had a ground invasion. Israel launched a ground invasion into southern Lebanon in October 2024, aiming to dismantle Hezbollah, their infrastructure near the border. He said they left here black and came back white. Gamal Abdel Nasser. Hey, sweetie. Hey, Tinkapoo. Hi. Yes, sweetie. So it's been a lot of back and forth, basically, with those two countries, y'all. Okay. It's been a lot going on. It goes back to the Balfour Declaration. Yeah, it's always something. It's always a disagreement somewhere with these people in conflict over there. And America just always has to be involved in it. And it's like, why can't they just leave these people alone? Isn't it, Tinkerbell? Leave these people alone and let them fight their own battles, y'all. That's how I feel about it. But it doesn't work that way because it's politics, because somebody is giving somebody an advantage when it comes to natural resources, or if it's money, or if it's the military. There's always a deeper reason why America has to get involved. What is going on with Tinkapoo, y'all? Yeah. So anyway, guys, it's 11:11 p.m. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. Thank y'all for the people that came and joined. Like, comment, subscribe, share, whatever it is. We'll be back on here to discuss more affairs, more world affairs. I don't know what's wrong with my cat, y'all. Tinkerbell, please get down. You said I'm leaving so soon. I've been on here for an hour and 13 minutes, Lonesome Dove. I don't know what else to talk about. Y'all, I cut the grass at 9 p.m. I'm tired. I cut the front yard. I cut parts of the side yard because I didn't want the HOA saying anything to me. But, and I've been going all day, y'all. I need to give the kitty cats a bath. Both of the kitty cats need a bath, y'all. Y'all can't see her, but she needs a bath. Prancer needs a bath. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to giving them a bath tonight. I'm too tired. But when I do, you said you still have sunlight at 9 p.m. No, I don't. That was the first time I've ever done that. But I was desperate to get it done. And the crazy part is when I was gone, one of the guys, I think he's in the neighborhood. He has like a landscape service. Of course, he's Hispanic. They left a business card on the door. And so I called him. Stop. Will you stop? So I think oh, you said you go girl. I think he could be one of my yard people. And there's another landscape company that came and cut my grass, but right before winter hit, they did some really awesome work. Their work, Hispanic landscapers, y'all. Look, they're very handy. One thing, the other day I was out and about and I saw them. They were at an apartment complex, y'all, and they had carpet padding. They were unloading a van. And he was like, where are you going or whatever? Are you going here? He was asking me which, where was I going or whatever. And I said, oh, I said, y'all are laying down carpet. Y'all, when I tell you they are so handy, they do carpentry, they can paint, they can do landscaping, they can build, they do construction, they just do it all. They are just the jacks of all trade. Find you some good, wait till I get down there. Find you some good handy dandy Mexicans and Hispanics and stuff, y'all, because they will do the work. They will get it done, y'all. They will get it done. They will get it done, y'all. They will get it done. They will get it done, y'all. All right, Tinkerbell. Don't jump back up here. I would hate to spray you, but I'm tired of her jumping in my lap because I can feel those claws digging. So stop. You said we do everything, Lonesome Dove. They do. They work on cars. They're mechanics. They do it all. You said that's funny because I'm in construction, home remodeling, and I also landscape. That's what they do. So you're just following along in the DNA of your genetic ancestors. Let me stop. That is what they do. Okay. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. It's no secret. If you want something done, go find you one of those Mexicans, Hispanics, and just, habla English. And they're going to pretend like they speak of the English, but they speak English when it comes to counting that money, that dinero. Yes, they know how to count that money, y'all. But the boy, it was so funny because when I called the number, like he had his son on the phone translating for him. So the son was actually talking to me and translating for him. So that's how we were able to communicate. I don't care how we communicate. If he can make the yard look better, I really don't care. Whatever you got to do. No habla español. Buenas noches. No speaking, no problem. I just need this yard to look better, okay? I'm in desperate times, calls for desperate measures, y'all, because I don't have the time, I don't have the energy, and I can't do it all. And I don't know, like, first of all, I'm not doing what I did last year with the yard. I'm not going back there buying the stuff and the supplies and trying to, no, it's too hot. I'm not doing it. I'm going to be a princess. I'm going to be the queen that I am. I'm going to let the men do what the men do and let them do it because I can't. And my mother, she's complaining about their yard because my daddy thinks that he can go and work in the yard because he be cutting the grass. But she was like, the neighbor's yard the grass looks so green over there. And you want that golf course looking grass. That's what I aspire to have, y'all. I want the golf course look. But I feel like it's been near, like, I don't know how to achieve it. I don't know how to achieve it. Thank you, Lonesome Dove. So I'm just gonna see if somebody else can do it for me because I'm not giving up. I didn't give up on the yard, but it's just taking too long. My other light cut out just now, y'all. It's just taking too long. And I feel like some things we just have to leave at some things should not be left to our own devices. Like if you know that you cannot do something to the best of your ability, but you're trying your best, but you just can't get it to be what you want it to be, it's okay to get help. It's okay. We can't do it all. Okay. Just like some people might not be the best cook. It's okay if you want to order out. All right. And have your food catered. If you know that you can't do hair, you probably shouldn't be cutting people's hair. You probably should stay out of don't play with people's hair, y'all. Don't do that. If you know that you don't know how to do certain stuff, you can't work on cars, leave people's cars alone. Because that's one way to get somebody ready to hurt you is to mess and F up somebody's car. People don't play about their transportation. And I know that I've spoken to a couple of people that have had that happen to them, and I don't want to be in this situation. So only deal with people that know what they're doing in their profession and their trade. Yeah, stay in your own lane, lonesome dove. Stay in your own lane. And if you know you can't do something, just be honest with somebody. Don't pretend like you know it all just because you don't want them to know that you don't know what you're doing. Just be like, I don't know. Just be honest, because that can cut down on the confusion. That can cut down on hostility. You don't want to be caught up in a warfare with somebody because you done messed something up. Leave people's stuff alone, y'all, if you don't know what you're doing. Oh, I can fix it. No, you can't. Okay, everybody is not meant to do everything in the world. That's why we have everybody with their own gifts, special abilities, and talents. Yes, indeed. That's how I feel about it, y'all. Everybody cannot, what can they not do? Everybody cannot sing. Like, everybody does not have the gift of singing, although we know it doesn't matter about your talent in this Hollywood industry. But I'm just saying, the natural, real gift of singing, everybody can't do it. Everybody is not a dancer. Everybody can't dance. Everybody thinks they can dress, and not everybody can dress. Everybody cannot rap, even though they think they're rapping, y'all. It's just the reality of it. But anyway, y'all, I've gone on for long enough. Okay. I'm going to sign out of here, y'all, because I'm very tired. You can see it in my face. That's why I had these sunshades on earlier. Hopefully, you said I'm a great realtor and teacher. Thank you. I could only aspire to be like you. I hope one day I can aspire to be who you're meant to be, Lonesome Dove. Aspire to be who you're meant to be. Maybe it's meant for you to do the things that you're doing. Like, I could never be a landscaper. I'm not going to say I could never, but that's not in me. Like, I'm not into construction. No, my brain doesn't work that way. I don't work on houses, y'all. I would tear some stuff up. Y'all should see the makeshift things that I come up with. I mean, I do a good job. I can YouTube stuff. I can Google stuff. But like, I'm not a mechanic. I'm not about to try to go do like heavy duty stuff on the car. Simple stuff I might be able to do. But most of the time I'm not dealing with it because I ain't dealing with it because I know I don't know what I'm doing. So, just like you said, stay in your lane. I'd rather deal what I deal with and let other people deal with what they deal with. You said I meant to be a teacher. I like teaching people things. Yeah, well, you should center your channel. I'm going to get some sleep, King Hazy, because I'm sleepy. But you should center your, like, if you have a channel, center your channel around, if you do like car work or mechanic work, center your channel around fixing stuff. Center your channel around, okay, well, I'm about to fix this in the house, and put up a camera and show people how you do it. You said you also do landscape work. There's a guy that has a YouTube channel, and he does landscape work for people in neighborhoods. You should show the before and the after. That's how you get your channel to grow, and people actually will tune into stuff like that. Yeah, I want to set up a camera around the house, but I can't set up a camera around the house because I don't have y'all. I don't have everything how I want it to be. Like, I need to organize, and I don't even want to keep talking about it because it's just overwhelming. But anyway, I'm going to get off of here because I'm just going to keep going on and on and on. This has been an episode of Brown Girls Are Beautiful. So if you have never been on to the channel, thank y'all so much for coming on here, for rocking out with us this evening. The chat section is always full of life. I'm sorry. Hold on. I got a text message, y'all. Hold on. Sorry. The chat section is always full of life. They are so welcoming and very supportive. So thank y'all for rocking out tonight. Consider liking, consider subscribing. This is the channel of substance over here. Remember to always walk in your divinity and celebrate yourself. You said just trying, but no one likes or comments. Thank you for today. Yes. Thank you all as well. That's why I like your channel. Thank you. You can do it, but I wouldn't do it for my profession. Not now anyway. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, we'll be back on here probably tomorrow. And my nephews have agreed to come on for F Your Feelings Friday. So that's going to be a special treat, y'all. And so, anyway, I'm going to sign off of here and I will tap in with y'all later. You have a good night, y'all. All right, guys. Signing out. Y'all take care. Yes, good night to you all. Gute Nacht. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Adios.